Okay, so today we're going to start looking at our different types of drawing. There are technically four different types of drawing that we're going to look at. First one being contour drawing, then we're going to look at gesture, and then sketching. Putting these together is where we're going to get to our value drawing, but we'll talk about that in another lesson. Okay, so within contour drawing, there are three types of contour. Okay, we are going to start by looking at blind contour, and then move on to pure contour, and lastly, modified contour. Contour drawing, what all of them have in common is that you are looking at the edges and outlines of an object. Okay, this is what you want to draw. What you do not want to draw, we are doing no texture or shading. Okay, so edges and outlines of an object, but no texture, no shading. Okay, so edges and outlines of an object, but no texture or shading. And that's what you're going to see through all three types of drawing. Okay. All right, so here are some examples of artists who work with contour drawing. This first artist we're looking at is Jane Rosenquist. She's a contemporary artist out of San Pedro. She is also a teaching artist. These first few are hers. She's done some work of children sleeping in her latest work. This is a self-portrait that was done with blind contour, and then she took and filled the different fields with color to make a completed painting. Here is the work of some of her students. She was an artist in residence in my class at my previous school at Port Los Angeles High School. And these were the work that she did with my students, who were mostly 9th grade. You can see that with practice and with time and concentration, you can get really good at this style very quickly. She worked with these students for about 12 weeks, and this was about 6 weeks into the program. Next, we're going to see some work by Pablo Picasso, one of the most well-known artists of our time. You may recognize some of these drawings that we used for our upside down drawings when we did these in class. As we talked about then, his proportions were not perfect, but these are the contour line drawing style. There is no shading, there is no texture, it's all purely line work. Next we have Andy Warhol. We don't typically think of Andy Warhol as working with drawing media, but here are some fantastic examples that he's done of contour line drawings. We see some examples that are not figurative work. Very detailed, very accurate proportions. Really shows a good sense of depth and space. Next is Jacob Lawrence. We're going to see with his work that he used contour drawing as preparation for his paintings. And these are much more complex. It's not just a single figure within the drawing. It's multiple figures, very intricate compositions, lots of layering. Next we have Mario Santizo. He is a contemporary artist. He works in digital media, so these are digital drawings. Does a fantastic job creating a sense of depth and weight within the characters. You really can see how these figures occupy the space. And last, we're going to look at another contemporary artist, Leslie Egan. She is from right here in Orange County. She worked for quite a while at the OC Weekly doing illustrations, editorial cartoons, and things like that. She's currently working as an illustrator, and these are some of her current works. She also works in digital media. So a continuous line I like to describe as a line that is continuous, solid, and methodical. So it is a line that continues. It does not stop, it does not break. It's different than a sketch line, because a sketch line you're more like sign kind of sort of goes like this, and it goes that way. A contour line, you slow down and you really think about it as you go, because you can't make a mistake. Okay, a sketch line is sort of like you're dating it, you're not really sure, you're kind of trying to figure out who it is and what it's going to be like. But if something happens, you can erase it, you can scrap it, you can move on. A contour line, you have to go slow, you have to be sure, because this is it. So I've got the little dip that's on the top. I've got this part that comes down. I've got this. I didn't draw this in because this is more of texture. This isn't necessarily, you can't even see it in the camera. I can see it though. And you don't want to draw texture. Could I draw this? Yes, because there is an edge where two things meet. So I could draw that in there. What I didn't draw in is this little lip. And if I show it there, you can see it has this little tiny lip. Little details like that are going to be what makes your drawing more realistic. So if I come back over here, and it's just this little add-on, because it comes out very small. To keep my proportion and things accurate, I'm just going to go really slow. So now we have just the edges of this little ink bottle. Okay, notice that the size of my ink bottle is bigger than the size of this. I'm not drawing it from straight on the edge like this. I'm not drawing it from straight above like this. It looks like it's going back in space. It's a different angle from where you're seeing it right now than what's here, but that's where I was seeing it when it was placed over here. Okay, so make sure that you're looking at things in the actual view that you can see them. Don't let your brain fool you into thinking that you're seeing things that are not actually there. Okay, but remember, continuous line, not a sketch line. You saw for me it was hard. Sometimes I would kind of start going into that natural kind of sketch mode. But the purpose of a contour is, again, to make sure that you're getting those proportions, the sizes of things correctly. Okay? See you on the next one.